This month, I'm not only getting lost in the library, I'm cleaning it. And in doing so, I'm solving a murder. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Leandra the TBR0. I'm also the host of TBRathon, a year-long readathon that anyone can join at any point. It involves 3 different challenges, and one of them happens to be a game board known as Lost in the Library, and I use it every single month to decide my TBR. The reason why I'm saying I'm cleaning the library and I'm solving a murder this month is because my Patreon, The Manor, has its exclusive readathon this April, TBR Spring Cleaning. Witnesses and sleuths are going to be helping me solve a murder while we do some tidying in our home and hopefully reading some good books along the way. Because the library has 6 different rooms, I've created 6 different flashcards, each one representing a different item that my patrons have to find in order to find one more puzzle piece for this mystery. For instance, in the manga graphic novel room, they're gonna find the weapon. In the adult fiction room, we're gonna unfortunately find the victim, so on and so forth. There are 5 prompts per flashcard, and each prompt has a different reveal involving it. So depending on which prompt you do, that is the corresponding item or person you're going to find. The way it's going to interact with Lost in the Library this month is that as I'm rolling, my intention is just to pass through every single room. If I land in the room, it counts, or if I pass through it, it's just going to be an added prompt that I have to fulfill. And I can't wait to show you guys a little bit of a sneak peek into what we're going to be doing for TBR Spring Cleaning through my own TBR. And I'm truly hoping to get a variety on my TBR this month, mainly so I've got options, because even though I want to enjoy TBR Spring Cleaning for the spirit of cleaning, so I'm going to be dusting, decluttering, tidying up, organizing everything, I also want some good books to relax with in my downtime when I want to reward myself after a long day of cleaning and just tidying up my apartment, because there's always something that needs to be done. And the place I'm going to be doing that is on my beautiful oversized mochi recliner from FlexiSpot, who is today's sponsor. I kid you not when I say I've had at least half a dozen people reach out about this chair, 2 in the last week, because it really is my go-to spot. You see me recording on here all the time, whether it be during vlogs or sit-down videos. It is my go-to choice at the end of a long workday, and it's usually where you're gonna find me when I want an ultimate cozy weekend of reading. And this angle certainly doesn't do it justice, but your lap dog, a cat who is very clingy, or if you want to spend time with that young reader at home, they could fit in this chair with you, I promise. And I'm in love with how the chair complements my reading area. More importantly, it's comfy. Its rounded armrests, reclining feature, and plush yet firm cushions make it easy for me to lounge for hours without getting stiff, whether I'm reading my next 5-star book, getting some work done on my laptop, or finally making progress on my current crochet project. And there are ports to plug in your phone and e-reader. Not to mention, assembly took less than 10 minutes. As a single apartment dweller, I did worry if I could handle the task on my own, but the recliner arrived in 3 boxes, retaining all the recliner components, and all I had to do was attach the backrest and armrests. 3 months into owning my mochi recliner, and the quality, durability, and overall value continue to have a 10 out of 10 score from me, and I can see this chair remaining in my reading area for many years to come, which I am so grateful for. If you're looking to upgrade your reading space, consider the FlexiSpot Mochi oversized recliner. There is a product link and a unique discount code in the description. Thank you again, FlexiSpot, for sponsoring this video. Okay, those who have watched one of my TBR games before, you know that the first thing I need to do is decide which room I'm starting in, which room I'm placing my ghost on. And that's because there is no official start or end. The idea is that this first space is a freebie. I don't even have to start in a room if I don't want to. I just typically do that. And it allows me to put a certain type of book on my TBR if I know that it might be a little bit tricky to ensure it gets on the TBR, a priority read, for instance. This time around, my priority read is actually something I've wanted to read for quite some time, but I keep making excuses, and that is a manga. So I'm going to be placing my ghost in the manga graphic novel room to make sure that I have at least 1 volume of manga making it on the TBR, because throughout 2026, I have yet to read 1 volume of manga. What is going on with me? And this actually works seamlessly with the manga graphic novel room prompts for TBR Spring Cleaning. You can see that there are 5 prompts. I'm going to be doing Anime Club, basically in this figurative library. Anime Club is meeting tonight, and I'm going to have to be tidying the room, getting it ready for them. And to do that, I have to read at least 1 volume of manga or a graphic novel, and I've decided to read Dinosaur Sanctuary Volume 7. I didn't realize I wasn't up to date on the series. I noticed that you could pre-order book 8. I've only read volumes 1 through 6. This is a sci-fi manga in an alternate history, alternate universe where dinosaurs weren't extinct. They were found in this island, just kind of living their life. And now we have this dinosaur sanctuary where the main characters are trying to just give the dinosaurs the life that they deserve, caring for them in their old age, in injuries, in health, everything else. It's very sweet. It's very heartwarming. I would say that it is a bit hope punk. So for those who are looking for lighthearted sci-fi, this might be the manga series for you. All right, now it's finally time for me to set up this board. I've got my little ghost, and I am going to set it in the manga because, as I said before, we are going to be reading Dinosaur Sanctuary Volume 7, and I got my D8. Hopefully that'll help me get to the board faster. But I got a 4, so that might not be in the cards. Let's see, where should I make my move? Now, the community room is pretty far. It looks like I would have to land on cozy activity, but I could go 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my gosh, I actually could land in adult fiction. So we're gonna do that. That's great. You know what? Getting a 4 is probably the best case scenario. I'm going from one room to the next, and that just makes it easier for me to interweave TBR spring cleaning prompts. And so we are officially in the adult fiction room, looking at the flashcard that corresponds with it. The prompt that I'm immediately going to do is the book club prompt. For this, I have to either participate in a buddy read or a book club in April. We've got Only Murders in the Book Club covering me for that. We're going to be reading The Case of the Murdered Muckraker by Rob Osler. Now, this is the sequel to The Case of the Missing Maid. Only Murders in the Book Club read it last summer. We all had a ball. I think most people gave it 3 stars or more. No one absolutely hated it, which for me is always a win. And I'm really looking forward to returning to Harriet Morrow. This is set in 1890s Chicago. She is a gay private investigator, 1, trying to take care of her family, and 2, trying to grapple with her own sexuality while solving crimes. And I'm really, really looking forward to the sequel. So yeah, this is the perfect choice, not only for adult fiction, because it is adult fiction, but because it ticks off that box for TBR spring cleaning as well. And I'm going to be figuring out who the victim is. Did I do that before? So for the manga graphic novel room, we're finding the weapon. And for this one, I'm going to be figuring out who the victim is in this murder mystery. Next roll is a 3. Okay, so I feel as though I just want to go around the board in a circle at this point, so we're going to go towards the community room. And that lands me on 2026 goal. I decided to land on 2026 goal because I have a lot of them and I really haven't been making much progress on any of them. I could have gone with a recently purchased book because I'm still trying to read every book I buy this year, but I've decided to work on new releases that are either in sci-fi or mystery, because one other goal I have is to just be a bit more up to date with 2026 releases in my favorite genres. And I feel like I've been lacking in that, mainly because I mostly get my new releases from the library and those wait times are quite steep at the beginning of the year, but I do have an arc for this title and I'm very, very excited for it. This is The Infinite Sadness of Small Appliances by Glenn Dixon. It isn't out yet. It's going to be out by the end of March. So maybe by the time you're watching this, it's out, but I do have an arc for it and I'm really excited to read it. Just check out this tagline. In a near future, where even the smallest of appliances are sentient, a young Roomba vacuum sets out to save the humans of her house from a rising technological power in this compelling original novel. It's being compared to The Brave Little Toaster, which I grew up really appreciating and loving, so I feel like we're going to get all of these nostalgic vibes, on top of the fact that I love sentient robotic things. I'm currently reading Ode to the Half Broken and having a darn good time. So I feel as though just add another robotic story to my list of favorite books of the year. I'm predicting it is going to be a new favorite. Okay, we got another 4. I'll definitely make it into the community room, but how many options do I actually have? I feel like the only thing I'm seeing is Treat Yourself. Yeah, that's what we're going for. I'm fine with that. So we gathered 2 prompts this time around, mainly because we cut through the community room and ended up landing on Treat Yourself. For the community room, I'm taking a look at my flashcard for TBR spring cleaning, and I have quite a few options. I'm leaning towards an activity rather than another reading prompt this time around, just because I know for a fact that there are 2 I will easily be doing at some point in April anyway, either the game night or the craft club. Now for game night, I've been playing a lot of video games recently when I need some downtime, if I'm not interested in reading, because I'm also trying to read less this year, which is always a goal, at least for the past 2 years it has been, and it's been really lovely. I've been playing some really great games. Actually, if you need some recommendations, Manami Lane is a great one. I also recommend Is the Sea Taken, The Last Campfire. I've also been playing Strange Antiquities. It's so good. So anyways, if you guys need some gaming recommendations, come at me, because I've been really having a great time with that. But so I just know that I'm going to be playing some games at some point to relax in April. And then with Craft Club, not only have I been hosting some cozy craft night sprints for the Manor every other Wednesday, but I also am just really obsessed with either doing some crocheting, doing other arts and crafts. So my bullet journal, I just know for a fact that that's another one that I'm easily going to do. So I'm not worried. It's either going to be a game night, or maybe I'm finally going to finish this dang crochet blanket that I'm loving, and I'm very excited. It's huge. It's way bigger than I expected, but yeah, we're just gonna have to see what I end up getting up to. And then for treating myself, my plan is to read one of my more recently purchased books in 2026. Not only that, it's gonna be a book that I got in a subscription that I'm testing out in 2026. I've got 2 of them. We're gonna see if I keep them. It just depends on if I decide it's worth it for me or not to buy blindly. That's not usually something I do, but with special editions, they're really beautiful and I really like them. So the first one I'm testing out is Illumicrate's Starbright subscription. It's worked out swimmingly so far. And then I also just got my first box from Broken Binding for their sci-fi box. Can you tell? I'm really leaning into the sci-fi this year. But the book I'm reading for my Treat Yourself Square is Wool by Hugh Howey. Now this is quite the chonker. I also think it's going to be a bleak read with a through line of hope just based on the synopsis, and I've been pretty lucky. It hasn't been spoiled for me. I actually know very little about the plot within this book. I have heard some people say that book 1 is really the only one you need to read because the author didn't intend this to be a series initially, so you don't really need to read the books to come. The thing is, I'm really hoping to want more because I know for a fact that Broken Binding will be publishing books 2 and 3 in my subscription. And so if I don't like this one, we're already off to a really bad start with the subscription. So I definitely need to read it. I'm treating myself because essentially I've already treated myself by buying this quite expensive but beautifully made book. I'm just hoping that it's also a treat once I get into the story. 3 rooms down, 3 to go. And I'm not gonna, well, all right, 3 rooms down, 3 to go still. Obviously landing on a 1, I didn't really have many options. I could have backtracked, but by doing so, I'm fighting against my goal of going through every single room. And so I just decided to move forward 1 space and land on the 5-star prediction, which is not a bad square to land on. Clearly, it's a book I really want to read, a book I think I'm going to love, and I feel as though I chose the safest option possible, and that is Platform Decay by Martha Wells. This is the 8th book in the Murderbot Diaries series. I'm currently on book 6. I need to read that and book 7 before I can read book 8, but I plan on doing so within the week. I've already started. I'm loving Fugitive Telemetry. I need to read System Collapse, and then I'll be ready for my arc of Platform Decay, which I do have. I'm so grateful for Tor for gifting me that, especially when I wasn't even up to date in the series, but I love the series so much. Like, I've had the best time basically binging the series. I reread books 1 through 3, and this past month in March, I read 4, 5, currently 6, and then I'm obviously going to jump right into 7, and it's so good. So I'm really excited for Platform Decay. I cannot wait to see what other adventures Murderbot et al. End up finding themselves in, and it's going to be a great time. So that one is very clearly the 5-star prediction of all predictions. Okay, let's try this again. Oh my goodness. Okay, a 7 certainly makes up for the 1 that I got before. Now I have to figure out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but I don't really have a middle grade to read. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But then new or old, I don't mind that. I could read a new release, or I could read like a classic or something that's been on my TBR for quite some time. This is a decision. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Do I go middle grade? No, I'm not going to. I'm going to go this way. New or old, move back 1, new or old. This was our first huge roll, a 7. Finally, the D8 is kind of coming in handy. However, I racked up more prompts, 3 prompts this time. That is a new record. And so the first one we're going to have to accomplish is the nonfiction room, which I passed through. And for that flashcard, I think I'm going to be doing the Dewey Decimal prompt, which is just straightforward, read a nonfiction book. The thing that I'm ashamed to say is that the book I'm going to be doing for this is Cast by Isabel Wilkerson. This is a book I started back in January, and I'm still finding it so thought-provoking. I'm just such a slow reader when it comes to nonfiction. I'm also reading it physically. I could get the audio. I'm pretty sure Wilkerson may be the person who reads it aloud. If not, that's okay. She doesn't have to. She's done so much work as it is, written this beautiful but heartbreaking nonfiction book. She doesn't need to also be the person who voices those words, but I'm only about 10% in. And by that, I mean, I've read like maybe 45, 50 pages because I think it's over 400. And so I just hope that this will remind me, hey, this is still on your currently reading list. Leandra, pick it up. I've also been reading quite a bit physically, more than usual, and so I've just been prioritizing those physical fiction reads. But yeah, so basically Cast, I'm still working on it. I still already highly recommend it to everyone. I'm just such a slow nonfiction reader, so that's going to be the first of 3 prompts I need to accomplish in this role. And then I passed through a second room, the young adult room, where I'm going to find out the why. What was the motive? Why did the killer strike in the library of all places? Why did this person have to die? I'm very much looking forward to coming up with those ideas as well. So it'll be a surprise for everyone, including me, who is currently filming this. But for that room, for TBR spring cleaning, I will be doing the movie night prompt, because once again, I already know I'm going to be accomplishing it, and I really like the idea of sprinkling in forced entertainment, forced breaks throughout the month of April, and with this one, it will count for my Manor watch parties. We typically do 3 or 4 per month, 2 on Wednesday nights and then 2 over the weekend. We might be watching Father Brown, Shakespeare and Hathaway, Rosemary and Thyme. A lot of mystery TV shows have the detective's name in the title, I'm realizing, because I'm also going to mention Sherlock, because we have also been watching the BBC version Sherlock as well, 1 episode per month. And so I'm obviously going to be partaking in that, and I'm just going to count that for my movie night. And then I finally decided to land on new or old. There's a couple of these this or that prompts in the library's game board, and that just allows a little bit of breadth. People can interpret it in multiple ways. For this one, I'm going to count it as old as in publication title in like relative comparison to like a 2026 new release, for instance. And I'm really lucky that I landed on this prompt because I completely forgot that April is where I'm going to be participating in Austen Abbey for TBRathon's weekend readathon event. So every single month, the first weekend, the first full weekend of the month, I host sprints, and the goal is for all of us to just remember that TBRathon is happening. It's a place for us to hang out, read, and just accomplish some of our year-long goals. During this event, I try to focus on one location within the map of stories, which is another one of the 3 challenges I provide. There are 12 locations. Each one is inspired by a different genre or area of reading. And so the location I'm going to be focusing on in April is actually Austen Abbey. And that one is to represent classics. And there are 3 different prompts. One of them is to read a book by a dead author, read a book, I believe, with furniture or architecture on the cover. I can't fully remember. And then the last one is a booktuber recommendation. So a book that you know another booktuber, another creator has loved, and then you can read it inspired by them. And there are 3 different badges: rose, silver, gold, depending on how many prompts you accomplish. I can only do 1 of the 3 prompts for Austen Abbey, meaning I'm going to get the rose badge, and I'm perfectly fine with that because I've decided to read Josephine Tey's Brought Fairer. Now, I've had such a good track record with Tey. She's a golden age author, not necessarily a queen of crime, but she may be a queen in my heart. I read The Man in the Queue many years ago, really enjoyed it. I don't know why I didn't go towards any other Tay titles up until recently, but last month I finally read The Franchise Affair, which is the third book in the Alan Grant series, 5 stars. I really, really loved it. It's the first time in quite some time that I've actually given a new to me Golden Age title 5 stars. So if you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend it. It was really entertaining. And now I just want to read more Tay ASAP, and I found myself with so many opportunities. First and foremost, obviously I'm reading Brought-Fairer for She Done It for the book club, and then not long after, in May, I'm going to be reading The Singing Sands by Josephine Tey with Only Christie in the book club. So I'm really pumped to just have more Tay in my future. Not to mention, this one in particular is inspired by the Tichborne case, I'm pretty sure, and that worked out really well for me with The Franchise Affair, which was inspired by the kidnapping of Elizabeth Canning. And so I feel as though Josephine Tey's wheelhouse, where she's the strongest, is in her retellings of classic crime. So I'm really hoping that Brought-Fairer is another 5 star for her. I just need to get through middle grade fiction. And I've done it. Okay, with a 7, another large roll. I'm definitely going to make it through middle grade fiction, which is perfect. And I don't have to land on it, which is kind of what I wanted to avoid. So let's just see where it takes me. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I will gladly take that. Starting and finishing on manga, that sounds perfect for me. Will I read manga? That is the next question. And now it seems like I can only roll 7s. It always feels a little bit suspicious when a number comes up twice. I'm not going to complain though, because it helped me accomplish my goal of getting through every single room on the board. Not only did I cut through the middle grade room, the final room I had to get through, but then I landed on the manga graphic novel room. I enjoy the symmetry starting there and ending there, but once again, you can't coordinate that. There's no way I could have planned that, but I'm not complaining. I'm just a little bit suspicious. The universe is trying to tell me something. So with the middle grade room, we're going to check out my flashcard for TBR spring cleaning. And the prompt I think I'm going to go with is actually read to dogs. If you don't know what that is, maybe it's a program that only my local library does. But basically, we bring in trained pets from the community, dogs that we can trust and are good with children. They come in, they're calm, they're relaxed, and the children come to read their picture books, their chapter books, they peruse our shelves. It's a great opportunity for them to practice reading aloud to an animal that will not judge them. And obviously the pets have a great time because they get a lot of scritches behind the ears. And so I decided to create a prompt that is inspired by that. And it's very simple, simply reading a book with an animal in the story. Now it could be an animal character with a POV, a secondary character, or just a companion, a pet for our main character, or maybe some type of creature. Maybe there's a tiger in the distance. I don't know, whatever the people want to do. For me, I'm going to be reading Slayers of Old by Jim C. Hines. This is described as Buffy the Vampire Slayer meets Golden Girls. Basically, the Slayers must come out of retirement to save the world one last time. It's very Buffy coded for obvious reasons. I've had some really great luck with that in the past with In Every Generation by Kendara Blake. Also a Buffy 2.0 kind of reimagining, and it's a 5-star trilogy for me. A YA series at that, which is completely unheard of, but I love it to death. And I have a feeling that once I read Slayers of Old, I'm going to want to binge that series again, and I'm not going to complain about it. It's probably going to be a really good time for me in the summer too, which that's going to be great. Yeah, I really should actually do that. But with Slayers of Old, it's an arc as well. I should have read it back in the fall when it came out. I just didn't have the time. And so now I think I'm ready for it, especially with it probably being lighthearted, really funny, action-packed. Elderly main characters is usually something I really enjoy. So I just think that this is going to be a really great comfort read in April. I'll have to let you guys know if that ends up being the case. And then finally, the last prompt I have to accomplish is another manga graphic novel room. This time around, I know I probably should just read another manga, but there's another title I really want to get to in April just because I'm craving historical mysteries. That is Murder by Degrees by Ritu Mukherjee. Now, this is another book I had an arc for that I never got to. Can you see what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to really catch up on those old arcs that I should have read a long time ago. And this one is set in 19th century Philadelphia. I'm excited to compare that to the case of the murdered muckraker, which is 19th century by Chicago. They're a couple decades apart, since I'm pretty sure Murder by Degrees is like 1875. But I'm really, really like, looking forward to it. And I'm pretty sure our main character is a physician, but I'd have to double check that. Ooh, yes. In this historical mystery set in 19th century Philadelphia, it follows a pioneering woman doctor as she investigates the disappearance of a young patient who is presumed dead. It just seems really fun, and I tend to lean towards historical mysteries when I'm looking for comfort reads, and so it just feels like it's going to be perfect for me. And I also think I have it planned for a very particular vlogging project. We'll see what happens. But I think it's going to come to fruition, and I think it's going to be really fun. Oh, and the prompt I'm doing this for TBR spring cleaning just for fun, even though I've already kind of checked that room off of my list, is actually book returns, and that's why. So that's why I'm not reading it for a manga graphic novel prompt. Instead, I'm reading it for a room prompt for TBR spring cleaning, and that is to read a book that is either gifted to you, free, or borrowed. And with Murder by Degrees, I have an ARC, so it was free, but I'm also probably going to borrow the physical copy from my library while I read it, and so it very much fits for the book returns prompt. Now, I do have one more addition to this April TBR, and that is Children of Memory by Adrian Tchaikovsky. This is the third book in the Children of Time series. I am going to be reading it with Victoria and Danny. We did have it planned for earlier this year to read it in anticipation of the fourth book, Children of Strife, coming out, but it just didn't come to fruition. Certain holds didn't come in on time, and so we're hoping to read it this month. I'm very excited for it, and I actually think we're going to be in a better position to read Children of Strife sooner afterwards, because if we were having a hard time getting access to Children of Memory, it would be even harder for us to get access to Children of Strife. So I don't mind us waiting. And now hopefully the following month, or at least a couple months after that, we'll get in Children of Strife and be caught up in the series. Thank you all so much for getting to the end of this video. I really appreciate your curiosity about what I'm going to be reading in April. If there's anything I said I was going to read that you're really interested in, or you've already read and you have thoughts, let me know in the comments, or let me know what you're hoping to get accomplished in April. If you're not feeling chatty, I understand. How about, in honor of this very weird cover of Brought Fairer, throw some horses in the chat. I have no idea why these horses are on the cover, what it has to do with the plot. I'm gonna have to find out by reading the book. But yeah, if you're not feeling chatty, give me a horse or two emoji just so I know that you were here and I'm not just talking into the void that is the World Wide Web. And if you also have been waiting to figure out when TBRathon weekend sprints are, they will be Saturday, the 4th of April, because I realized the first full weekend of April is also Easter weekend. That's not really great for people traveling, and they're probably going to be really busy on Sunday, and so I'm just hoping to have a longer sprinting session on Saturday. Thank you all so much again. I really do appreciate your support in however you're able to provide it, and I really do hope that people are eating, they're drinking water, that they're sleeping well, and that you have had some pretty good reads in March and you're looking forward to whatever April has to come. I hope to see everybody in the next one. Bye, everybody!